I'm the Wolfman from Barefoot Bushcraft. I want to thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today we are going to take a look at the Ka-Bar 5055 knife. It's a beautiful little piece, a little on the smaller side. It's got a Tanto tip. Let's take a closer look at the blade. So here's the Ka-Bar 5055. It has the Kraton-G handle. It's basically like a rubber polymer handle. Has a little bit of a cross guard on there. A fairly flat back. Serrations, again, serrations are a personal thing. I love serrations on a blade. Not everybody feels the same way. And again, it also has the square Tanto tip. Exactly the same. Not everybody loves the Tanto tip. I happen to like it for digging and cutting and all that sort of stuff. Now here's the cool thing. So again, 5055. This is its big cousin. Look at that. This is a little bit of a vintage blade. This is the Ka-Bar, I believe it's a 1265, and you can see it's significantly larger than the 5055. Of course, it's you know, they don't really make this one anymore, but you might be able to still find it on eBay. Has a leather handle versus the Kraton handle. So the first thing, I'm an average guy. I'm nothing ginormous size-wise, and this is a little small in my hand. Although it is a great knife if I want something, you know, just on my belt or a backpack. It has a crossbar here. You might find that the crossbar gets in the way if you're going to do fine carving and slicing work. So what I have done on the other one here is I've just removed that. So you can just take it off with the grinder or whatever and basically just, you know, cut it off and make it pretty, if you choose to do that, of course. But past that, has a nice butt cap on it here. It's been peened. It comes right out of the box. It's nice and tight with no wiggle or movement in it. All in all, a nice little blade. Now, of course, why do you need a blade? I carry a blade, and everybody carries a blade in the wilderness for a simple purpose: to manipulate your environment. That's why we do it. You have to be able to control things, make firewood, stuff like that. So we're going to put this knife through its paces. This is pretty much right out of the box, and see what it can do, see how it feels, and take it from there. All right, so first step is going to be shaving test. So it's not really taking the hair off there. If you look at the blade, so not shaving sharp. Moras, on the other hand, they come right out of the box shaving sharp. Of course, with a bit of work, this is, I believe, 1095 Crowvan steel, so you can get it shaving sharp if you choose, but it is not shaving sharp right out of the box, as you can see. Not taking any hair off right there, but that's okay. Not the end of the world, and you know, a knife is still good even if it's not shaving sharp. Let's do some batoning with it. Next common thing that people do with knives, although it's particularly hard on the blade, is to baton, which means we're going to take this piece of wood right here and we're going to drive the knife through it. Now, it is interesting to note, tang-wise, as that's important, this does not have a full tang. It has what's called a rat tang, so the blade starts here, the blade ends right there, and then it goes into like a little stick made out of the metal, of course, and that fastens down there. So you can kind of see that right there, that rectangle. That's what the blade actually turns into. So it's nice and big here, goes into the little square bar, rectangle bar, goes up here, and then is peened on. Doesn't necessarily mean it's, you know, less strong. It's inherently less strong, but it will still do the job. So baton, of course, we're going to make sure we have most of the blade sticking out, right? And we're going to whack it a couple times, sink it in, and just see how see what happens. So I've leveled the blade right there, as you can see, completely level. Let's see what happens inside. You can see the split went right down to there. So it shouldn't take much to get this bashed apart. Done some wood batoning. Obviously nothing happened to the knife. The only thing you'll notice right away is, you know, right straight out of the box, now we've got some markings on the blade from that, where it's been taking the coating or the paint or whatever it is off. I'm not sure. Let's try to rub that off to see if it's like wood on there or not. So yeah, it looks like it took the coating off. Of course, that's normal in any knife. Next step with the blade, we're going to take it, create some shavings, right? That's one of the other things you need for a fire. It's a good pile of shavings, so we'll take this wood that we just cut and we'll do some shavings. So there we have it. It splits, it cuts, makes beautiful shavings. No complaints about the blade itself. It has a plastic sheath. It's not really Kydex. It's kind of like Kydex-like sheath, but it's, it does good if you like the plastic sheaths. You can hear it, that it is definitely like a heavy plastic. Some people say that they don't like them because they dull the blade and all sorts of stuff like that. Totally personal choice. I like the plastic sheath because if they get wet, they last a lot longer. They don't, obviously you're not going to get leather rot in this. You're also not going to put yourself in a spot where it's going to be wet for 3 days. It has a great security and fastening system. It has multiple key points in there. Look at that. So basically, when it clips on, you got 2 points right there and there that clip on. Then you have another fastener right here. So this fastener flips over like that and puts it on. And then you have another one here up at the top. Now these snaps are fairly new, so it's not coming out, right? If one fails like that one just did, no problem. That's going to hold and that's going to hold. So literally a 3-point fastening system. That's pretty great. It's got all kinds of accessory mounts here, so you can put a pouch on it. You can put it on the, upside down on your backpack if you wanted, stuff like that. Of course, it has a belt loop. Very important if you carry them on your belt. And this little thingy here you could use for, I don't know, I've never really found a use for it, but I'm sure it has an official purpose. So it has rivets. They are made out of, looks like they're made out of copper, so they're going to last. And it has a little drain hole right there. Looks kind of like a little tiny smiley face if you look at it. You look at it that way. The concept of that is any water or anything that gets in there, it's going to flow down and flow out. So all in all, a good piece. I'm really happy with this blade. For those of you that like the Tanto tip, I prefer the Tanto tip because if you do any kind of digging or scraping or anything like that, it's going to work really, really well. I do also like the Tanto tip for starting, when you're starting your bow drill, it makes a nice a wide hole on it. And again, you can get serrated or non-serrated. This one is serrated. Personal choice. I like them. Not everybody does. Over time, these don't seem to be the same as some of the other, the imported or the less quality blades where they get a little rickety inside. This one, I've had some of these for over 10 or 12 years, some of the similar brands, and they don't seem to have that where the leather contracts. This, of course, is that Kraton polymer rubber style. Hopefully, it won't ever, contract or collapse. So it's all in all pretty decent. If you like it. My only concern is for me, it's a little bit small, but the upside of that is, it will do pretty much every task except, I don't know, chopping down a tree, and it's a nice small blade for that. The giant K-bar is a little bit more, enormous and huge, especially if you're going into, I don't know, like a public area with it. You might find, comments and things like that, which I've received in the past because your knife is too large. Anyways, such is society. So it cuts, it slices, decent blade, good quality. Now again, K-bar may not be the blade of your choice. The reason I chose it is during World War II, my grandparents, of course, fought in the war. The K-bar was something they always traded with the Amerikanskis. They would trade American soldiers to get these knives and keep them in, my grandfather was tank commander, keep them in there. So they were, they loved them. They were loved throughout the war. So the huge history with this knife, originally created and designed in Olean, New York, where the K-bar factory was. I believe it was not called K-bar. It was it was a cutlery company first, and I'm sure I will be corrected in the comments. But it was a cutlery company first, and then of course K-bar recently. So it's one of their decent ones. Now, what to look for in this? It actually says USA stamped right there on the blade. If you flip this blade over, it says K-bar Olean, New York, right on the blade, right there. Of course, some of the knockoffs that you get, and there's quite a few different companies that make knockoff versions, it won't have that. But anyways, there's your K-bar 5055 Kraton handle partially serrated blade. Of course, there's all kinds of different knives on the market. Many people say K-bar is not the best brand on the market today. They may be right. I love the brand. Again, I have multiple different ones. Like I said, this is a bit more of a vintage model. This is the modern 5055. Good blades for what you do. If you don't, like any blade, if you don't abuse them, you don't beat the heck out of them, you don't pry with them, and you're careful with the batoning, should last you 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Not uncommon. You go on auction sites like eBay, you're going to see K-bars that are 75 years old up for auction, and they're still in relatively good condition. So they're decent blades, if you're into them. They make, all kinds of different bushcraft blades now, specifically, I think it's called the Becker and a whole bunch of stuff that, bushcraft and outdoor enthusiasts love. I love this blade. Again, I think the only thing that I may change on it is I'm going to take that right there and I'm going to cut that off, only because for doing fine and detailed work, I find that it kind of digs into my hand. Other than that, beautiful blade. Again, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I'm the Wolfman for Barefoot Bushcraft. Please consider subscribing and stay cheeky breaky.